Hey everybody, welcome to Speed Bump. Let me introduce Sutte Hakkun's world record. It's Darkman 425.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
And,
the very same.
and that is for 50 levels, and it's 2726.
Yeah, so a lot changed since we talked about it last week. We had sort of been unsure how we wanted to handle the category discussion, or the category, and we were kind of leaving it up to doing the event version ROM, which is the only existing leaderboard. I'm currently working on getting a real leaderboard up. But people were having issues with running Satellaview games, and it wasn't looking like it was going to be a good fit anyway because the tutorial's very long, and we scrapped the whole thing. We said we'll do the actual Super Famicom version, and so we had to invent categories. We got the enjoyment of being able to actually invent our own categories, and we decided on beat 50 levels because that is a actual milestone in the game. It unlocks later worlds once you've beaten 50 levels in total. And so that's what people have been running. I think it has worked out really well, actually. The record for it now is quite low compared to a roughly equal number of levels in the event version. The world record was an hour long, and Darkman already has it down to 27:26, which is really impressive. Now, to the credit of the existing leaderboard, the event version, the 50 levels are of wildly varying difficulties, while this category is only tackling the first 60 levels of the game, so they're easier by comparison in some cases. But I think that still this time is roughly around where we're aiming for speed bump games, so I think this is a really good fit.
Yeah, well, so that was definitely one thing we needed to talk about, was what version to use, because that wasn't too clear when we shut down last time, but we pretty much settled on it right away after we talked about it in Discord with the folks running it. So if you're interested in picking it up, it is first 50 levels of the SNES version, full release.
Well, beat 50 levels of the first 60 levels.
Yeah, so any 50, so that means you can skip 10 at your choice. You can skip anything you want. If you do 20 levels, I think it is, out of 30, something unlocks. It's something like that. 25 levels out of the first 30 unlocks the next set. It's something like that.
Yeah,
and then
that's exactly right.
And then you have 5 more that you can skip the same way. So you do have to do. You probably are. I'm not sure what levels we'll skip. Well, I guess we'll see. I haven't sat down and watched the newest ones of these yet, but I'm betting that the first couple worlds don't have too many bad ones in them for time.
No, I definitely remember hearing people talking about specific levels that were a lot of waiting around, and so I think part of the optimization and the routing is definitely in part picking the right levels to skip, and then once you do have your levels down, I've already seen some videos of some optimization that's been done. I haven't seen this video yet. I've been saving it, but I've seen some videos that were coming in. I think it was Darkman posting some of his work in progress, and it's looking really optimized.
So we're gonna watch it here. I got his permission. Let's go ahead and start that. It's 27 minutes and some change. So here it is. I heard World of 4 was really nasty.
Yeah, there's definitely some rough spots in this run, so I'm looking forward to seeing this because I haven't gotten a chance yet to watch the actual record as it stands right now. Darkman had posted his sort of per world practice he had done, and I was really enjoying watching that. I feel like watching through this, pretty much every level is beaten in an unintended way, which I really like to see that for puzzle games like this. It'd be so easy for a game like this to turn out to be nothing more than just doing the levels as intended really fast, but this game feels like all the levels really came together with some interesting strategies.
Yeah, there's a lot of moves, and also that score, I guess, is based on how much you move. So, 900 is pretty good for that, if you care about score, which we don't, obviously. Right. There you go. That's the tech.
Yeah, so at the end of every single level, it does count down your number of points you have. And you can do some things to cut down on those points if you're really trying to optimize. I think there's probably still some room for it. Things like jumping around on platforms while you're just waiting for them to carry you around, moving around more. The game really does knock points off for literally anything you do. I think it's trying to test whether or not you found the most optimal solution. And so little things like jumping and walking around do cost you points. But if you want to cut down on how much time it takes to count down at the end of the level, you can do some things to improve on that. The task there's a incomplete task by Kaiserman 666, buddy of mine, and you know, there's a lot of things like that where you can just see little micro optimizations.
I really like that one floor clear that we saw a little while ago. That was really good. Stealing the paint and using it at the right point, just completely messing it up.
Like this right here doesn't even go to the right half of the level, or left half of the level.
Well, that's the champion move so far, in my opinion. I haven't seen one on par with that yet. That was good.
Big plays. It's nice to see games like this where there's definitely, the levels are built with an intended solution in mind. It's always nice when you see levels that can be circumvented.
Best point.
So optimally, what we want to see is, we want to see the lowest score possible for each of these levels. That's ideal. It means that slightly less time was taken at the countdown at the end. Obviously, the countdown at the end is so fast that you wouldn't want to do anything that would otherwise jeopardize your speed, but if it doesn't cost you anything to burn some points, you should burn some points.
Yeah, if you're just sitting around. I can see what you mean. If you're waiting for a block like was just being waited for, you could save milliseconds if you jump up and down.
Yeah, it's so small. Those are the sorts of micro optimizations you get when a game's really being heavily optimized. I don't know whether or not we'll see a lot of that over the course of this month. I think that for the most part, people are going to be wanting to see consistent strats over perfectly optimal. But you know, I think that there's room for those sorts of things.
Oh, my bad. Thanks for the fan art, Amigo. I wanted to look at that, but it's kind of hard for me to do it right now, so I'll check it out as soon as I'm on Twitter again.
This game is pretty fast. It's nice to see. I'm wondering, honestly, whether or not this will lend itself to at least what we've done in the past, which is having a week where we do a race with some people. I wonder if this is a sort of game that will lend itself to that, or whether or not, more or less, everyone would be playing just as well as each other, and so maybe it doesn't lend itself as well to a race.
Yeah, some games like that.
It is kind of, you know, we here at the bump, as we call it, do love Finn very much, but it is nice to have finally found a game that seems to have put him ill at ease. He's not, doesn't seem in the Discord whether or not he's going to be getting in on this one. It seems to be his kryptonite a little bit, according to him, so.
This level seems like it's given some problems. It's troublesome, very precise, weak action going on here. Oh, that was scary, really. That seemed like death almost happened. What's the solution here? You just stand there, and that is the fastest way to do it. Looks like maybe.
Yep, it just bumps it straight back down. Oh, now this is clever.
Readjusting the paint, repainting the block is a big thing in this.
Oh, looks like Finn has taken up the challenge, has seen that this game can still go places, and is not ready to be done.
Lots of time left. We got almost 3 weeks.
Yeah, we're barely into this speed bump. You know, a lot of people were saying that they didn't want to see just platformers, and granted, finding a good puzzle game that's been untapped is very difficult. So this one definitely still has its platformer vibes, but you know, if you're looking for a first game to get in on, again, the bump, this might be the one for you.
This level seems really complex.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm interested. I'm interested how much of these still have room for improvement, or how much of these are about as optimized as they're going to get in terms of the strategies, not the gameplay itself. I'm sure all of these levels can see slightly optimized gameplay, but I'm interested in seeing how much more room there is for innovating the strategies for each level.
Some of these levels are going to be worse than others, but that last one was one of the first ones we saw that went 900. So you lose 200 points, that's a lot of moves. It makes me wonder if there is a better way, but I don't know it, because that's the same solution I used, pretty much. Taking my time and getting the second block up there.
I think one of the things that I really love about games like this is that, you know, typically if you want to help with or be involved in optimizing a run, you really have to understand it front and back and figure out, you know, where there even is room for you to improve the tech. But a game like this, like, all you have to do is look at one level that seems slow and see if you can find a better strat, and you've contributed.
I feel like that's one of the things I like about when I was trying to learn Link to the Past is it's a bunch of cubes rooms. Like if you did bad in a room, it's just that one room and you can learn that one room. It's always the same. There's some RNG,
Right.
but that's an example of a platformer that it's a room by room basis. So if you're not doing something as fast as someone else, you can get it down to what rooms you're doing wrong and what can be improved there.
Yeah, so if you've never really, I mean, if you're, let's say you're watching right now and you're thinking, well, I've never really done a speedrun and speedruns aren't really my thing. You know, there's actually a lot of ways to contribute to the speedrun community in general. There's always room for people who are coming up with new ideas and innovating and optimizing. And so, you know, if this seems up your alley, this is a game that would not involve all that much effort to be able to come in and help optimize. A lot of these levels, as Darkman was saying, already slightly based on the existing tasks by Kaizoman, but I don't know to the extent which all of those are possible. So, you know, maybe there is room for coming up with better real-time strategies.
Here we go with the new mechanics. No longer are we just blocks. That last level didn't even use the colors. Just ignored them and just went straight vanilla blocks.
Who needs it?
It's only
This is a really solid run. I mean, you know, Darkman's in the chat saying it's really sloppy, and Finn says that he thinks he can see room to optimize. But honestly, for 1 week into the process, this is already a pretty good run.
Yeah, this is good. The levels that I see done where there's room to improve, there's not very many, honestly. There's a lot of really good... A lot of these are just gonna be... If you're gonna optimize them, it's gonna be less than a second, I think.
Right.
Like this one here's a death. That's the first one we've seen, so that's... Obviously there's room there. That's gonna save you like 20 seconds. If you don't take that one. That's the first one I've seen. And those are the obvious go-tos for finding a mistake. That looks like a really bad jump, though. That looks rough.
I'm not quite sure whether or not that's an intended path through that level.
I think you're supposed to use the other block to build a bridge, and skipping that makes that pretty rough. That's what it looks like. Oh my. Oh no. Oh, I see what's going on here.
He is trying to take his friend along for the ride.
Need the switch. Is that a platypus? What is that thing?
Yeah, he dropped his friend on the switch. I don't know what the names of all these enemies are. The thing that I really love about this game is that it really takes the theme to it. I mean, you know, we're not really here to sell the game itself, but I've always really been interested in this game because it really takes the theme to the extreme. So, like, all the enemies you encounter can also be painted, and each color of paint makes them do pretty significantly different things. I just think it's a really novel concept.
Yeah.
And I think with something like that, where you do have a whole bunch of different enemies that all respond differently to different color paint, I think there's a lot of room for just wildly different strategies being able to innovate.
This level looks like a pain in the ass. This stuff weird. Wow. I don't see a better way to do it, though. You just gotta run the gauntlet there. That was...
There's a lot of choices on that one.
Yeah, that was rude. I would think that would be one that we'd skip, but I'm sure there's more like it.
Yeah, you only get 10 skips. I mean, you probably have to really figure out the difference between slightly inconvenient and actually not worth doing.
Well, this looks tough too. You probably need every inch of that height. Yeah, you should do. Maybe. We're already on
This is
3.
a solid run.
Yeah, we only have less than 20 levels left here, I think.
Yeah, we've seen most of the levels be played at this point. I guess we probably are anticipating most of the skips happening in Worlds 4 and 5. I guess that would make the most sense. Technically, all of the... Or sorry, in 5 and 6. Technically, all of the levels through level 60 are available for this category. So you're choosing 10 levels before level 60... Or level 610 to stop at.
I definitely heard a lot of upset people at World 4. Specifically that world for some reason. Maybe it's when it starts really getting rude. I don't know if the later worlds are also like that. I figured puzzle levels, in any kind of puzzle game, they introduce some mechanic that nobody likes, like gravity wells or something. I'm not sure what it is in this game, but
There's always one.
yeah, they usually get rid of it after that, so sometimes it gets really bad for a while, and then it goes back to not so bad. Some blue paint.
Oh, interesting. I wonder if the intended strat was to change the color of the pot, but
Oh, this looks rough.
yeah, it's just like very slightly desynced from what would probably be perfect. That was really good though.
Okay, World 4. I want to see what's going on in this world. We got this stone thing, this smashing rock guy. I don't know what his deal is exactly. What's that one? Just falls through platforms?
So most of the enemies don't interact with blocks like you do. You can stand on them, they won't, so they'll fall through a lot of them. There's one enemy that looks like a block, and you can only push him around. You can't actually suck him up and move him around like others. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Kinetic Gibbon pointed out that it looks like a stump on the box art, and it looks like it would probably be referring to the same enemy, so...
Oh, yeah. He's just a tree trunk.
Oh my god, I remember doing this level casually. I don't know why this one sticks out to me in particular. I remember doing this level casually, and that was way faster than the way I did it.
So
that was...
You fall through the down arrow?
Yeah, you fall through the down arrow, but it's a one-way gate, like in Maker. And so he wouldn't have been able to get back out, so you have to have a block ready to prevent you from falling through. But you only have yellow paint, so it only moves diagonally, so setting it up can be really frustrating.
I'm not sure what's the plan here exactly. Going to do what now? I'm lost. Oh, I see. Nice. Okay.
Oh, cool.
Is that intended? That looks like that actually might be the proper way.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to people... You know, we're going to get slightly closer, and we're going to see this come down to more or less specific levels, like people coming up with interesting new strategies or more difficult strategies for specific levels. I'm really interested to see which levels that turns out to be, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we're already under 30 minutes for record. That's really fun pace. I like short runs. They're much easier to deal with. If you mess up the start, restarting is not a 2-hour loss. It's not like some of the other games I've tried to do. You can just knock 1 or 2 out in the morning.
Yeah, if you're interested in participating in this one, definitely start working on some runs. I should have a leaderboard up within the week. There's a mod who moderates the entire Sutte Hakkun series, and only has the event version as a game, and isn't on very often, so I sort of have to wait for him to be inactive enough for the speedrun.com mods to give me the board, but we'll get there.
Well, have you played Kickle Cubicle? That's what I wanted to ask you off the blues.
I have played it. I have not played a lot of it. It's a game that I'm intrigued by. It's definitely seen some speedrunning attention, though.
Yeah, too much for us to use. because it's
Yeah.
I really like it a lot. But it gets really hard later. In the last, there's like an optional world where the kids log off and the parents start to play. It's impossible. It is rude as hell. Like the game's pretty tough towards the end there, and then you get to the bonus worlds, and it just tells you to stop playing. It just wants you to quit. It just wants you to give up. On I had to look up an answer last time I played it. That like 3 of us trying to solve it together, we couldn't get it.
I need to sit down and go through a lot of those old Famicom puzzle games, like Solomon's Key and Fire and Ice and Kickle Cubicle, stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool puzzle games for the Famicom. Some of them have received a lot of speedrunning attention, some of them haven't.
I think I understand this. You're gonna make a blue block to walk. And then what? How are you gonna do the end? Oh, okay. A close jump to death there.
Solomon's Key and Fire and Ice have both seen a ton of speedrunning attention, but I'm more thinking like I've been playing a lot of puzzle games lately, and I love puzzle games, and I need to stop speedrunning every dumb game I come across.
Invite me for the Cubicle if you start playing that. That's my childhood game there.
You're gonna join in on the Kickle Cubicle Let's Play?
I will. I love it. It's got a good plot. Well, not really. It's got a plot. It's got puzzles. It's got turtles who attack you. It's got it all.
What is he doing with that block? Oh, okay. Interesting.
I'm gonna skip that one. Yeah. All right. That was complex. I see you're getting 1,500 points now instead of 900 for these levels here. They just went up a digit at this point.
Yeah, they expect it to take you a lot longer to complete them. Okay, just destroy the pot of paint. That's cool.
This stump is fierce.
You definitely just destroyed that pot of paint, right? Like, I'm not... Was that a strat? I'm so in the weeds on this pot of paint.
Okay, skipping the last block. All right, that was speedy. There's a mimic paint pot.
Oh, a fake paint pot. Okay, all right.
Hate to hear that. It was fake paint.
False paint in my video game. No, thank you.
Where's the ideal diagonal move here? I don't even know what's going on at this point. I'm lost in the puzzle action. It'll take me a minute to figure out what the plan is.
It's like play along at home, but you have to play along very quickly.
Going to switch yellow to the other block now, for some reason. And then, okay.
Oh, you just need to have a block in his possession on top of there.
Yeah, just needed a stepping stool. That was the goal. Skip level 1. I'm surprised that all the level 1s I've seen so far have been really easy, like tutorial, but apparently the World 5-1 is not worth doing. Maybe it's just too long, even if it is easy.
I remember this level in particular as well from playing through this game. I remember this one being really difficult to solve casually.
What the? What's going on?
What's the big idea?
What's the hijink here? Are you able to pick which block? Is that what that is?
Oh, wow. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Well, that was confounding. That was complex. 5-4.
So what do these little doggies do when you put yellow in them? Because blue's making them walk and red is making them bouncy.
We need some cubes to get this pit.
They hop in place. Interesting. Yeah, you gotta fill in that pit over there so that you can walk across to...
But only the mimic works, really, because you can't place.
Right. Make some hop to hit switches. Oh, that's quite useful. So you can just place it on a switch and it'll jump up and down and switch it for you over and over. That does sound nice.
There's a bit of action going on in this where you have to be grabbing this while you fall.
Yeah, I think for people who might be looking for a puzzle speedrun, this one's a little more action heavy than they might be looking for, but I think one of the things that makes puzzle games fun to speedrun is the fact that they are, like I was mentioning before, so disjointed. Like you can just sort of work on optimizing one level, and that's a worthwhile endeavor. So it still has that, but otherwise, it's pretty action heavy.
It's fun to see how this all comes together. There's only 6 minutes left in this. Getting into World 6 here. We're skipping a lot of World 5. Almost half of it is getting eaten up here, and so World 6 is going to be the other 4 or 5 levels that are left.
I wonder if we're going to get into a situation where some of the levels are, on average, faster to skip, but in practice you can do some faster strats here and there, and maybe it'll come down to who's willing to risk it to skip the less common ones to skip, and oh no, there might be some room for some risky play in here. You know, maybe some level that is commonly skipped has a really fast strat, but it's dangerous.
Welcome to the Stone Zone. One of the things with this game is it's a little boxy, so you have to do these jumps that, if you're playing like Mario World, these wouldn't be a big deal, but jumping around corners on these isn't the easiest thing. From what I experienced, pretty easy to mess this up and end up falling down this pit. So they're making some pretty tough jumps for themselves.
Yeah, this definitely is not a freebie. There's a lot of... It seems like there's a lot going on in here that pretty dangerous and difficult.
Oh! Yeah, right here. This is gonna be a rough walk. Nice! Hey, thanks for the subs, everybody. I don't actually have alerts on this show, and I don't know if I'm gonna put them on. I'll probably put something subtle on, but I appreciate the support. You're funding this game show, also, as well as my other stuff. I'm confused with so many blocks. Oh. I see. He was blocking the path.
Yeah, everything was about getting that mimic out of the way.
What a jerk.
These levels are very quick.
Even the long ones haven't been too bad. What do you think of the music? It makes me think of like Monopoly. NES just playing. Waiting for me to take my turn. Opening up a trade with the computer. 2 humans and 8 computers, and I'm trying to get them to trade Boardwalk, and they'll never do it, but I can try over and over again, so enjoy the music.
That's oddly specific.
Yeah. I would never make anybody wait for me to trade like AI all day. Wouldn't do that. Not this guy.
What a great stage.
I like the diagonal blocks a lot. They're my favorite. They really mess up the layout of everything, and you gotta consider a whole new dimension.
Yeah, it does seem like the yellow paint is the big, I don't want to say game breaker, but it definitely seems like a lot of unintended puzzle solutions are happening because of it.
Oh, what the... I see.
It's all about getting that block up there in very creative ways.
Yeah, that one wasn't too bad.
We're at 47 levels, just 3 to go. And it seems like most of World 6 has made the cut. It seemed like it was Worlds 4 and 5 that were really the ones that were dropped.
These ones are complicated, but it is a puzzle game, so you know it's not. Even if it is action based, there's if you know the solution, that's 90% of the battle. Even when it's an action puzzle, or like Pickle Cubicle is another action puzzler because you're fighting dudes the whole time. Even in the end game, they're not that bad. Not compared to knowing the solution. Oh my.
Oh my goodness.
This seems hard to deal with.
Please tell me that's not the intended solution. God, I hope that's not the intended solution.
I can't think of a better one, looking at that, but there's gotta be a better way. An easier way. Anyway, not a better way. There's gotta be a worse way that's slower, that they wanted you to do. There's gotta be.
The Satellaview version had, if I'm not mistaken, it had 50 base levels and 5 bonus levels.
Oh my.
But from what I understand, it drew from levels all throughout this game, and so some of them were quite difficult.
This is rough here. This is pretty nasty. Jeez, that was speedy.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's 50.
you've done it. Thanks for the run submission. How are other people doing? Is this the? I'm sure there's other runs completed, right?
I haven't seen anyone post their times yet. I think it's all sort of coming together still, but I'm hoping that some other people see, something that's this open-ended. I feel like it might be hard to commit to. Like, I don't want to commit to an hour-long run. Well, now you see that it's 27 minutes with some room to improve. So maybe that'll get other people.
Yeah. Didn't mean to interrupt. Keep on.
That's a good dog.
Yeah, good dog. So 2 weeks, 6 days, and I think it's shaping up. It looks good. This is last week we didn't even know exactly what version we're playing, so big improvement discussion from last time. I like the way this one's going. This is good.
Well, we're fortunate to be working with professionals, and by that I mean all the Speed Bump fans, because we certainly weren't quite sure what we were doing last week.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a leaderboard up for you soon. Information on exactly what we're doing is always on speedbump.run. That's our website. So head to there if you're looking for details. If not, the Discord. The Discord is honestly, I think you'll have a hard time winning one of these if you're not in the Discord talking or seeing strats. Right? Like that's.
Yeah, people are sharing a lot of information. People are posting sort of work in progress strats. So if you don't have access to that, it's going to be a lot harder. So definitely join Smite's Discord server.
I think so. Well, thanks for joining me, Arthur Blues. That was fun and good runs.
Yeah, it's coming along already. I hope we have more good news next week. I hope it's not just where it is. Hopefully someone will make that happen and we can look at another cool run and some improvements.
I will see you next week. We'll see how it's going.
Later, everybody.